We are live! Merry Choochmas, everybody! The Chooch and Chill production brought to you by the guys that bring you Empire State of Baseball. I'm your host, Rich Rivera, and I'm being joined by one of the family members of Empire State of Baseball, Matt Chooch Tooker, responsible for the Chooch's Pick of the Week that's happened all season long in the 2022 campaign. But Matt has decided he wanted to team up as co-host tonight for a very special Christmas festive podcast brought to you by our friends over at Giving Grace Projects, which we're going to have a lot of great information on and how to donate towards their toy drive, which ends next week. Matt, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great, Rich. How about yourself?
Doing good. Holiday season is here, which is insane. This year just flew like nothing. We're live here, Empire State of Baseball presented, but Chooch and Chill production of Merry Choochmas, which, Matt, I know this is something you and I have talked about for years. We've always wanted to do this kind of podcast to touch on everything Christmas related, and boy, are we going to do that tonight. I'm excited. I don't know about you.
I'm very excited. This is a subject everyone who knows me knows that I love so much. I am the jolliest mother effer around. So,
oh yeah, keep it clean. Love that. Love that.
My,
what are we drinking tonight?
I got some elf juice from Source Brewery. Shout out to Corey Favs for picking me up. This is a fruited IPA, and it is very good. I am enjoying it.
All right. Some elf juice on the show. I got no elf juice, but I got eggnog. I don't know if you a fan of eggnog? I feel like eggnog is just like an acquired by taste kind of thing, but I love it. I can drink it straight. I don't mind it.
No, not the biggest eggnog fan because I'm not the biggest milk fan, and it reminds me too much of milk. See,
I don't like milk that much. I mean, some of my friends would feel like that's the other way around if you're not buying 2 gallons of milk on a Nashville trip for 5 days. But I love eggnog. I don't know what about it. It's maybe got like I feel like a little bit of a cinnamon taste to it. I do like it. Can't have too much of it, but I do love me some eggnog. So tonight's show, Matt, we have a lot in store. But before we get into some of our fun segments, I think it's time to bring on one of our Chooches, and one of our Chooches is part of the Empire State of Baseball crew, so he's very well familiar with Twitch. And speaking of Twitch, if you haven't already, make sure to pass over the link to your friends. It's right here, bottom of the ticker, Chooch and Chill Podcast. So you just send your friends over to Twitch and tell them to find Chooch and Chill Podcast, one word. You will find our podcast tonight. Very special edition, one-off show here. Merry Choochmas. So let's get into our guest here, one of our first co-hosts representing the Chooches. We got Joe Pugliese. At JR Pugs is his Twitter handle, and he is rocking a New Jersey Devils ugly sweater. And it's so ugly,
baby.
But welcome aboard, Joe. Once again, we're doing another podcast here on Twitch.
Yep, back to back, baby. So this one is about jolly and cheer. I got my Christmas tree yesterday. My whole house smells like somebody made love to a lumberjack. So I love it.
Well, shout out to Nick Arnold. If he's listening in, one of our resident lumberjacks. A lot of hate for eggnog here. So, listen, more from me. That's all I say. But Joe, we brought you on for a couple things, but I heard you and Matt went to the movies on Saturday and saw the David Harbour starred Violent Night, which came out to theaters over the last couple of weeks. Let's get your thoughts on it, since it is technically a Christmas topic. What do we think about Violent Night?
It is the definition of a Chooch movie. There is no way around that. But listen, if you are going to watch the Santa Claus meets Die Hard meets Home Alone, you are getting exactly what you paid for. It is a fun, albeit violent movie. I mean, and honestly, I can't think of a new Christmas movie that's come out in the last, half a decade that is as entertaining as this. You know, most Christmas movies, I think we all watch. We watch partially from nostalgia. And this is one that's probably going to go into my rotation on a yearly basis because when it's on TV, it's going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining. There's a lot of Christmas puns. The movie doesn't take itself too seriously, so it's very highly recommended. Is it like the greatest Christmas movie ever? No, but I would say like a solid 8 out of 10 in my book.
Well, Lana C827 asks, isn't Joe's favorite movie Elf?
Absolutely not. That's a horrible movie. And I defend to this day that Elf is the most overrated, overhyped Christmas movie of all time. And you can't change my mind.
Yes.
All right,
well, I'll bite your opinion there. Elf is a very popular movie. But where does Violent Night rank around popular Christmas movies here, Matt?
Well, Joe, I'm going to have to disagree with you on Elf, but I will, in fact, agree with you on Violent Night. This was, and I quote, a stocking stuffer of a movie. This was, if you go into it expecting what it is, the title says it all. It was a violent night, and it was fun. I was laughing the entire time. I was looking for the action. David Harbour played a great Santa and kick-ass Santa, to say the least. So yes, I do. If you guys are looking to see a movie this holiday season, go out and check out Violent Night. You won't regret it. It was fun, violent, and it was a nice family story.
Nice family story. I love that. And David Harbour, of course, from Stranger Things, acclaimed, taking the titular role and the star character here in Violent Night. So yeah, I'm gonna go check it out, guys, at some point. It's been a while since I've seen a good Christmas movie in the theaters, and this has that kind of like that mix of Steven Seagal back in the 80s meets Christmas here. So definitely want to check that out. But we're gonna get into Christmas movies in a little bit. But a part of the action tonight here, boys, is we have some Tinseltown trivia. Now, what the hell is Tinseltown trivia? It is Christmas-related trivia. It's exactly what you think it is, and you're gonna hear it all night. There's gonna be a few questions that we're gonna ask you, and there might be some prizes involved. So, our first question tonight: what is the name of the magician in Frosty the Snowman? Obviously, the original, the animated TV special. What is the name of the magician in Frosty the Snowman? And I'll look for your answers after our next segment. And speaking of characters in movies / TV special, and this character,
my wife got it right immediately.
What was that?
My wife got it right immediately.
Got it right immediately. All right.
Yeah.
So if your wife is in the Twitch chat, I'll be looking out for her answer there. But yes, the character she might be thinking of is technically a villain, but a villain that's not going to be featured on our bracket tonight, the Jingle Bell bracket. And for the Jingle Bell bracket, we're going to determine who is the greatest Christmas movie villain of all time. And Joe, I know you're a big movie guy, so this is right up your alley. And we have some villains in here that, listen, some of these guys, maybe they didn't deserve to be in the top 8 here of villains, but we got to chooch a little bit. It is Merry Choochmas. I will say, though, no Ebenezer Scrooge, no Grinch, no Bumble. Those guys had a character break in their movies. They were not pure evil from beginning to end, so I could not include any of the 3. I had to go with pure villains here. Isn't that right, Matt?
That is correct, and I completely agree. Can't include the people with face turns. That would sour the pot.
Sir, I agree. All righty, so let's get into it. The Jingle Bell bracket. We're going to start here with a first-round matchup of the Burgermeister Burger from Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And we also have Scott Calvin's doppelganger / fake here, Toy Santa from the Santa Claus 2. Joe, starting with you, who do you got in this matchup?
I mean, the Santa Claus 2 is a step down. It's such a step down from the first Santa Claus. I can't give Toy Santa the all-time movie villain over the Burgermeister from an absolute unadulterated classic of a movie. So I'm going to go with Meister Burger as my better villain.
Okay. Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, I am going to have to agree here. Meister Burger is probably one of the OG Christmas villains. This is a straight classic, animated Rankin Bass. Toy Santa, yeah, he had his evil ways, but eventually he got shrunk down back to his normal size. So he didn't make a lasting impression. To me, Meister Burger will live on for many generations.
He's a personification of evil when it comes to these like claymation movies that were so popular back in the 50s and 60s. So yeah, I'm with you guys. I got Meister Burger. All right, now we get into a little bit of debate here because our next person, we got Hans Gruber, who many might say doesn't even belong in this bracket with Die Hard. And you got Mr. Potter of It's a Wonderful Life. Look at that face, man. It's just like, that just screams evil right there. Joe, Gruber or Mr. Potter?
I mean, come on. First of all, anybody who says Die Hard's not a Christmas movie isn't watching. Let's go over.
Here we go.
Let's go over the reasons it's a Christmas movie. All right. There are no less than 3, maybe even 4 Christmas songs in the movie. It takes place on Christmas Eve. And there is Christmas stuff all around. There's a Christmas party. What else could you need that Die Hard is a Christmas movie? Ho, 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 now I have a machine gun is one of the most iconic lines around. That is a great Christmas movie. It's Hans Gruber. Not only is Hans Gruber one of the best Christmas villains of all time, he is one of the best villains of all time. He is up there with Darth Vader as one of the greatest movie villains of all time. So it just an absolute iconic movie villain.
All right, Matt, I know where this vote's going.
I am going Mr. Potter. This is another classic original movie villain, and this is because It's a Wonderful Life is a great Christmas movie. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. Yes, it may be set on Christmas Eve, but this was a summer blockbuster. So you're telling me if Top Gun Maverick had a little bit of Christmas in it this year, it'd be a Christmas movie? No, that's a summer blockbuster. Die Hard is a summer blockbuster.
But it takes place during Christmas. It's a Christmas party. It's Christmas themed throughout. What constitutes a Christmas movie? What does it have to be? Does it have to have Christmas music? Check. Does it have to take place during Christmas season? Check. Does it have to have Christmas events? Check. What else do we need? All right, you need Santa squeezing his fat ass down a chimney?
Joe, you're not gonna get any gifts this year if you act like that. Now I'm with you both here. Listen, Die Hard, Christmas movie. Mr. Potter, better villain. So I'm gonna vote Mr. Potter into the next round.
If you can admit that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, Hans Gruber is a worse villain than Mr. Potter. Boo-hoo, Mr. Potter wanted us to buy real estate.
He's a horrible human being, piece of crap.
Of course, he's a communist.
I've got to go with Mr. Potter because there's no debate. Yeah, there's no debate. It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Christmas movie. I got to kind of go with the general here. Mr. Potter is evil in his own ways.
Mr. Potter didn't shoot Ellis in the head.
He didn't shoot Ellis in the head, but they're in a debatable Christmas movie, which I'm listening. I agree with you, but I'm going Mr. Potter here. All right, next round, we have the next matchup from the Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. We got Mayor Augustus Mayhew. And from The Nightmare Before Christmas, we got Oogie Boogie. Joe, what do we got? Is The Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas movie?
It's a Christmas movie. It is. It's got themes, even though it takes place not on Christmas exactly. But it's Oogie Boogie for the primary reason that Mayor Mayhew is from a remake of a better version of the same movie. He wasn't even a character in the original How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So he's a made-up character on a weird remake with bad acting and bad makeup design.
Bad acting? Bad acting? Jim Carrey is a bad Grinch, you're saying?
No, everybody else. I'm not a big fan of Jim Carrey's Grinch, but everybody else in the movie, there's bad acting across the board in that movie. That movie's highly overrated too.
Matt, what do you got?
Okay, so this for me was the closest matchup, and I will say, Oogie Boogie did plot to murder Santa, so that's his side of the argument. Mayor Mayhew was a jerk since his childhood years, where if he would have ran for mayor and it came out that he was abusing the Grinch in school at a young age, he would have been canceled and wouldn't even been able to run for mayor. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to pick Oogie Boogie in this because he did plot to murder Santa.
Yeah.
The mayor was abusive in his bullying. He didn't actually plot to murder anybody. So, Oogie Boogie it is.
I'm going to make a unanimous there. Oogie Boogie moves on to the next round. All right. Our next matchup, our final matchup of the first round, we have Harry and Marv of Home Alone. Iconic duo right there. Up against Ted Malton of Jingle All the Way. Chooch villain. This guy, listen, you couldn't trust this guy with any single mom on the block.
Or married.
Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't trust it with his wife. And, of course, we got to talk about the cookies. Joe, what do you got here? Ted or Harry and Marv?
Listen, I appreciate Ted's inclusion on this list. Ted is what I would say is a Chooch, but there are worse villains in the movie. You know, one of them actually has a bomb threat on a radio station. I mean, we got some Chooch villains in that movie. So I'm going to go with Harry and Marv here. Harry and Marv robbed a couple of houses, destroyed people's lives and possessions. They turn around and try to rob a Christmas store. Heel turn. Kevin's the actual villain for trying to straight up murder Harry and Marv in Home Alone 2. Instead of just defending his home, he lures these two idiots out of a toy store into his uncle and aunt's decrepit house and literally tries to murder them in a twisted version of Saw.
Could have easily called the authorities.
It's got to be Harry and Marv, but you know, Kevin's not far from making this list.
Yeah, Matt, what do you got in this one? I truly think there's this Home Alone is just a movie of heels, but go for it.
Well, Ted trying to sleep with every woman on the block, covets his neighbor's wife, eats a man's cookie, and then tries to bang in his minivan in front of 1 million people at a Christmas parade. That being said, Harry and Marv are still the best villains out of this round of the bracket. They will move forward. But to me, Joe, Kevin is not the real villain. The McAllister family as a whole is the villain. Not one person in the family was like, where's Kevin? Nobody cared. Nobody cared about him. That's why they left him behind.
And they didn't do it once. They did it twice. 2 times. You left the fucking poor kid at home. What are you guys doing? Yeah, the McAllisters are evil, pure evil. And, but Marv and Harry got to get in here for me. They did try attempted murder on a child that could have easily called the authorities. But yeah, I'm gonna move them on to the next round. So we're in the semis here. Let's go with Meister Burger or Mr. Potter. What do we got here, Joe?
I'm going with Meister Burger. I mean, again, you know, Mr. Potter, grouch, old man, whatever. His biggest drawback was he was getting people to buy property. That's what makes him a villain. All right, he didn't try to kill anybody. He didn't try and stop anybody. He just tried to get people to buy certain pot and kick people out of their homes. But whatever, they will live. They find new homes. It's not a big deal. You know, we got to go with actual villains here who tried to do something that is like borderline murderous.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, I happen to agree. Mr. Potter is evil in his ways, but he did not put Santa Claus in jail, and he did not confiscate every toy from children or threatened to put their families in jail for having toys in the house. This man physically set a trap for Santa and jailed him. And if it wasn't for the wizard with the magical corn to make reindeer fly, he would still be in jail to this day.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got kidnapping, government corruption. I mean, that's far worse than repossession of a couple of houses.
I think any crime against Santa Claus is like above anything else when it comes to a Christmas movie villain. So, with that said, our next matchup here, we have Oogie Boogie of The Nightmare Before Christmas or Harry Marv of Home Alone. What do we got here? Joe?
Oh.
We've been trying to go in the order of Joe, Matt, me. So
I got Harry and Marv because Home Alones they are more Christmassy than The Nightmare Before Christmas. I know they threaten to murder Santa Claus, but Harry and Marv threaten to murder a kid, steal hospital money that could have gone to donate to kids with cancer. Like, I mean, we're pretty low stakes here, despite the fact that Kevin exacts his revenge in the sweetest way possible. You know, Harry and Marv are the Chooch villains. The only thing is, who is a better villain, you could argue, is Oogie Boogie, because he is actually a smarter villain, but I'm going to go with Harry and Marv.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt, I don't know how you feel about this one. This is tight.
Yeah, Joe, I'm going to have to agree with you again, surprisingly.
Oh, wow.
Oogie Boogie, yes, villain, bad guy, but to me, he doesn't appear in the movie enough to have a true villainous and lasting aspect to be the number one villain of all time. Harry and Marv, when you think of Home Alone, I think of Harry and Marv before I think of Kevin.
Yeah, but crimes against Santa. He tried to kill Santa Claus. He tried to end Christmas.
No. Well, yeah, I guess.
Come on, like that is as
but,
Christmas villain as it gets.
But Santa Claus was Jack Skellington, who was already who's already undead.
But Santa Claus wouldn't have been in this position if it wasn't for somebody else. Marv and Harry was their own doing. If Santa Claus wasn't set up and kidnapped, by the way, Oogie Boogie's plan was on the fly, yes, but he wouldn't have planned to kill anybody in the scenario.
I love it. All right, so Harry and Marv, the iconic duo, move on to the finals, which gives us our final matchup of Burgermeister Burger and Harry and Marv of Home Alone. Joe, who's your winner? Greatest villain of Christmas movies of all time. What do you got?
Since we didn't pick the guy who murdered several people and tried to steal $100 million, I am going to go with Burgermeister Burger here. Two reasons. One, he is the all-time. He is the first. He is the classic. He is the original. All right. He actually executes his plan. He actually goes through with the plan. He does capture Santa Claus and throw him in jail. Harry and Marv are basically two idiots who come up with a semi-cockeyed scheme or outdone by a 10-year-old. All right. That's not really movie villain to the highest degree. You know, Burgermeister Burger actually executed the villain and was following through on the decrees of banning Christmas and arresting people who celebrated Christmas. I mean, he is essentially Emperor Nero from the Roman Empire in a movie. I mean, that's what he is, aside from the beheading part. But, you know, that's my vote.
All righty.
All right, and here's where it's going to get interesting. Although,
no,
Joe, I do agree with you, Burgermeister Burger is one of the original baddies of the holiday season. I think you got to give it to the wet bandits, the sticky bandits, that if they didn't go out of their way to go after that one house, go after Kevin, tap him on the street in New York City that they found him, they would have accomplished their plan. They would have wrecked people's houses, stolen all their possessions, got away with the money from Duncan's toy chest, but yet they chose to try to murder a kid on Christmas that they clearly tried to take advantage of. So to me, if you look at any list across the board, Harry and Marv are the number one Christmas villain. When I think of a Christmas villain, I think of Harry and Marv first. So for me, Harry and Marv it is at the top of my bracket.
Again, I think Home Alone is such a heel program. There's not, if you really dig deep into all these characters of Home Alone, they're all heels. They're all bad in their own way. But to me, I got to go with Joe. I got to go with the Burgermeister Burger here. He is just look at this guy. That is a personification of evil. This guy's got an iron on his face. This guy, he's putting Santa in jail. Again, crimes against Santa just does it for me. And if it wasn't for Oogie Boogie being out early, who tried to actually murder the guy, I would have voted. This is where my vote's going to be. Burgermeister Burger. Crimes against Santa, man. It just can't be tolerated. And that is my vote and the win for tonight.
You know, somebody brought this up the other day. With Disney movies and Disney villains, if you're going to be an all-time great villain, you have to actually accomplish something. Like Scar is an all-time great villain because Scar killed his brother, usurped his throne, and ruled a kingdom for 10 years. Whereas Ursula or whoever kidnapped somebody, it was about 5 hours, worth of bad guy stuff. So you got to go with the guy who actually accomplished things, not the guys who run around in New York and get beat by a 10-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what I'm saying. When you go at the greatest villains of all time, you have to actually do some bad stuff.
Matt, I think Joe might have spurred another idea for the next Chooch and Chill production. Maybe a Disney special. Everything Disney. We'll see. Maybe it's a 2023 plan. But for now, Joe, we're going to let you go. We do appreciate you jumping on and giving your expertise on Christmas movies and Christmas villains. It was great debate. And again, getting into the age-old, is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not? It's up for debate. And it is a great conversation every single time. Joe, any special shout-outs here on this special festive edition of
Shout out to my wife, Christina, who actually got the trivia question correct.
She did.
She was Professor Hinkle, who was the name of the magician in Frosty the Snowman. And no, I did not tell her. She said it the second that came up. So congrats to my wife, as always, being a walk-in trivia answer card that she is.
Love it. And also, I gotta shout out Chrissy, that she is here in the chat. She's one of the biggest supporters of Empire State of Baseball, and she does a great job in promoting the podcast often. Actually, not often, every single time we go on. So I want to thank Chrissy for all her great support and being a part of our streams here on Twitch. So thank you, Joe. Thank you, Chrissy, and have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy the holiday season, guys.
Merry Christmas, boys.
Merry Christmas.
All righty. Joe Pugliese, make sure to give him a follow at JR Pugs on Twitter. He talks a lot of baseball. Obviously, he's part of the ESP family, and he goes through it all. He loves talking about movies, man. So I think that was a success there. Jingle Bell bracket. But we gotta keep it moving. And I just gave you Joe's a Twitter handle here, but you can give us a follow too. Give Matt a follow at mtook45 and your boy at Rich J Rivera on Twitter and on Instagram as well. And I'm sure we'll have some Christmas commentary on Twitter that you can check out. So we have another drop in from the Chooches. Of course, we have our Chooches in the chat, lighting up our chat today here on Twitch. And I thank you guys for being a part. Thank you guys and girls for joining us in the chat. Very active tonight. We love it. But we're going to turn it over to another member of the ESB family, Mr. Corey Favaloro.
Yo.
What's up, Corey?
Ho, 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 and Merry Christmas, fellas. We got double podcasts tonight, a little bit of Chooch and Chill on this fine Monday evening. Gentlemen, it's December. I can't believe it. It's the holiday season, my favorite time of year, outside of the summer, of course. It's great to be here with you guys.
Absolutely. One of my favorite traditions of the holidays, and it's been a while, was the potluck at the Favaloro family house.
Yes.
Fun time. Always enjoyed that. Always a great Christmas memory, and always a test to see what I could actually attempt to make. And it's usually not much. So we always enjoyed that. But Corey, we're going to get into Christmas songs because we did some movies. We got to get the songs in a little bit. So we do have another Tinsel Challenge trivia question. Let's see if Christy gets this right. What is the name of the most recorded Christmas song of all time? Recorded as in covered, played many a times. What is the most recorded Christmas song of all time? So you got to think back here, because it's been covered thousands and thousands of times. That is our question, and we'll be looking out for your answers after this next bit, which is named "Oh Christmas 3." So if you go back to last year's baseball podcast, Corey, we had a segment called Three's Company. And it's a similar bit here where we're going to kind of list our top 3 favorites of something. So, of course, tonight with Oh Christmas 3, we're going to go into our favorite Christmas songs of all time. And we're going to start with the number 3 position. And we'll go in the order once again. Corey, Matt, and I'll finish it up. What is your number 3 position favorite Christmas song of all time?
Number 3, and this was tough because I could have easily rattled off 5, 6, 7 over here, but to narrow it down to the top 3, definitely a little challenging. But for my number 3 selection, you could make an argument this is a classic. In a lot of people's lists, this might be number 1. I'm actually going to go with Sleigh Ride, and this is another song that has a ton of renditions. It is not the answer to our last trivia question, though. But I'm going to go with Sleigh Ride. And of all the renditions, I am going with the original, Leroy Anderson, just classic orchestra. If you were in a school band or a school musical, come Christmas time of year, this song was basically a guaranteed to be played. I love the song. Reminds me of Christmas. I want to go have some pie at Farmer Gray's house and enjoy my evening there. So I'm going to go with Sleigh Ride for my number 3.
All right. I like it. Sleigh Ride, a classic instrumental by the great Leroy Anderson. Matt, what do you got in the number 3 spot?
Yeah, so this was a tough one to just narrow it down to 3. So what I chose here was one of my favorite ones to sing along to here for number 3 was White Christmas by the Drifters.
Oh.
Yes, you know, the boo boo boop boop.
Yep.
Perfect. Right off the bat, you know what you're coming. You know you're going to have a good time singing the song. Just a great classic Christmas song.
Yes. Yes, I love it. Singing on Twitch. That's great. The Drifters version of White Christmas is also my favorite rendition of White Christmas, and of course, iconic in Home Alone, as you just mentioned. My number 3 position, I'm gonna go to Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays by NSYNC. And I know, listen, it's definitely overplayed. And we can get into Mariah, but yeah, NSYNC's right up there as some of the more overplayed Christmas songs ever, but it's great. It just personifies your late 90s, early 2000s boy bands, and NSYNC was at the top along with the Backstreet Boys, but it was NSYNC that beat the boys to the punch with a Christmas original. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays is my number 3 position. Corey, what do you got in the number 2?
All right, number 2, and this one is going to piss Matt off. I know he does not like this song, but I'm going to go, it's with a little duo over here, and an epic duo at that. Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy by David Bowie and Bing Crosby. I mean, this song, I think it's very beautiful, well done. You have 2 singers, both epic singers in their lifetime and of completely different eras and genres. Bing Crosby, classic guy, 40s, 50s. Think of the war era. Think of our grandparents. David Bowie, you got the 70s, completely different styles of music. They came together perfectly in this song. I think it's beautiful. Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy, number 2 on my list.
I like it. Matt?
I do disagree. I can't disagree with your opinion, sir.
Thank you.
For my number 2, this song is this is a song that just reminds me completely of Christmas time. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, that's my boy Frank. I love Frank.
I love it. Frank Sinatra, also got to love Sinatra after the Yankees win a game at Yankee Stadium. But yeah, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, a great cover for him, and Christmas Waltz he does a great job with as well. My number 2 is going to go to Donny Hathaway for This Christmas. And if you follow Empire State of Baseball's podcast on Instagram, and we put up the post promoting Merry Choochmas tonight, that was our song that we selected. So should have been a hint for the segment today that we're having right now. But this Christmas, Donny Hathaway's original rendition, number 2. So we're off to number 1. Corey, what do you got?
Number 1, and I'm going to go to my guy, Andy Williams. Also sings the Godfather theme song as well, Speak Softly Love. But I'm going with Andy Williams. Happy holiday, the holiday season. Every time this song comes on the radio, I'm singing along because it's the holiday season and Santa Claus is coming round. The Christmas snow white on the ground. That's my number 1. Love it.
Wow. Corey with the notes tonight. Love it. Matt.
Love it, Corey. It is a great song. Unfortunately, it didn't make my top 3, but it is up there. This song to me just is what just embodies Christmas the most. It's the definition of Christmas to me. The Christmas song, Nat King Cole. To me, it's the most classic Christmas song, and just the song when it comes on the radio that I just turn it up and just sit there and listen to it.
Very good
song.
pick.
Now that chestnuts roasting on an open fire. I mean, we got the open fire right here in the studio. But yeah, great OG song, Nat King Cole, another song that was covered thousands of times, but not as much as the answer to our trivia question that we're going to reveal in a little bit. My number 1 is going to be Last Christmas from Wham. Last Christmas, always up there, and I love going with a song that's, it's a 6-minute long song, but you feel like that song flies within 30 seconds. Great song, great ballad by the great George Michael and Wham there. So I gotta go Last Christmas. Always a must to play at this time of the year. So those are some of the favorites. So I want to get into the worst, and we don't have to get into 3, but I definitely want to know what is your least favorite, the worst Christmas song of all time. Corey, what do you got?
I don't know. It's something about me when I hear these voices, they just get in my brain and eat away at it. I'm going with the Chipmunk song, Christmas Don't Be Late, by the Chipmunks. I don't know why. I just can't stand it. I'll sing along to it mainly because I'm mocking it, but I'm going to go with the Chipmunk song as my least.
I'm going to go with an equally annoying voice song, and I absolutely can't stand I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
Only hippopotamus will do.
I can't stand the song. I hate it. It makes no sense. I just wish it would go away.
That song is brutal, and I feel like if I heard it enough, Matt, I'd probably be right with you there and choosing it as my worst song of all time. But I just feel like I don't hear it enough. So my least favorite of all time, and I just don't understand the fanfare. I guess it's a parody kind of on the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but I'm going with Elmo and Patsy's Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer.
Oh, that's
and I know
a fun
it's a fan
one.
favorite. It is a fan favorite, but I absolutely cannot stand my favorite part of the song is when they mention eggnog because I love eggnog. But other than that, could not stand the song,
I love that song.
anymore. In our chat here, Alana C827, what I love, she loves the Chipmunk song. Here Comes Santa Claus up there as well as a bad one. Chrissy Pugs, I do hate the hippopotamus song too. So she's with you right there, Matt. And the Christmas Shoes is Miserable, also by Chrissy as well. That's just it's a sad song, man.
Yeah,
just not the song you want to hear this time of year.
Definitely a sad song for sure. I do want to give a couple of honorable mentions though, because Christmas itself. I mean, you got albums nonstop. I would say if I was rounding out my top 5, I would also put the Christmas song in my top 5 as well. Another song that I really, really love. It's I'll Be Home for Christmas. Again, that's just me. I love the war era. I'm all about that era. Absolutely. My favorite part of history when I was back in school. Just loved it. And a 6th honorable mention, just because I find it fun. And again, Bing Crosby, similar type of era. Melly Clicky Mucka. To say Merry Christmas to you.
I could do Corey singing all night here now and just let Corey just cover a bunch of Christmas songs. So that would be that. But while we have you on, Corey, I do want to reveal the answer to our Tinseltown trivia while we still have you. So we did have a correct guess in the chat. Corey, what song is the most recorded Christmas song of all time?
Yes, and we did have a correct answer in the chat for sure. Our song of the night is Silent Night for trivia question numero 2.
Yes, I love it, Corey.
And
Didn't miss a
speaking of
beat from that last show.
Not at all. And speaking of a silent night, I hope you gentlemen have a holy night because I am out
Yeah.
right now, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening.
I love it. Corey, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday Season. I'll see you at the potluck.
And a Merry, Merry Christmas to you.
Love it. And he signed himself off while I was at it too. By the way, for those of you who are answering Tinseltown trivia questions, you are getting a little gift in your demo. So check it out. So there you go. Good stuff, Mike and Chrissy, for getting the answers right to our first 2 Tinseltown trivia questions. We got one more in a little bit. But I also want to plug Empire State of Baseball. While we're at it, Matt, why not? You are part of the family. Empire State of Baseball, which was normally live every Mondays. We're at the off season now, so we shrunk it down to some special episodes throughout the year. Our next episode going to be on January 23rd. It's a Monday, episode number 34, Hall of Fame special. And if you don't know, follow Empire State of Baseball on Twitter at ESB Podcast, Instagram at Empire State of Baseball, and of course, subscribe to us on Twitch and YouTube as well. ESB. The ESP family is out tonight, Matt. Corey, Joe, yourself, big representation coming out of our Twitch family, isn't it correct?
Love to see it. Love to have everyone on board. You had even Tom came on for the ESP episode today, so he was involved. Almost every member of the ESP family was involved tonight.
Absolutely. And thank you all for being a part of it. We love our ESB family. Most importantly, we love our Chooches in the chat. The chat's been awesome all night. And for the chat, for one last time, we have one more Tinseltown trivia. This question, we did a song-related question. We did a movie-related question. Now let's just do a regular general Christmas question here. Which year was the first lighting of the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree? I just need to know the year. Don't need to know the exact date, just the year. So it's up there. It's a tradition that that's popular here in the New York area. Matt, you a big fan of the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree?
I am. I've actually attended one time when I was younger. I would like to do it again. It's probably between that and the Thanksgiving Day Parade as one of the big New York events that I would want to do, because I will never, ever touch the New Year's Eve in New York City.
Oh yeah, it's a cluster. It's a cluster to say the least. Definitely not fun to try to attempt to go out for New Year's Eve in the city. In the city in general, obviously, in December time is tough. Even Bryant Park is packed this time of year, so it's definitely tough to enjoy some of the great Christmas traditions out in Manhattan. But the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, we just need to know the year of the first lighting. So I will look for your answers in a little bit. And while you guys are still trying to answer that question, I just want to talk on Giving Grace Projects, which is a great sponsor and partner for tonight's very special one-off show here. Merry Choochmas, a Chooch and Chill production. But I want to talk about the Giving Grace Projects and some great work here done by a friend of the program, Alexa. And the Giving Grace Project, a nonprofit organization in loving memory of Grace LaPolt that aims to serve our local community and tri-state area in times of need. The organization was started in 2017 by Grace's youngest granddaughter and, of course, a great friend of ours, Alexa, as a gesture in keeping Grandma Grace's loving and giving spirit present on a daily basis. Last year, the Giving Grace Project collected over 500 toys and plan on exceeding that benchmark this year. There are plenty of ways to donate. Along with old-fashioned pickup and drop-off, Giving Grace has an Amazon wish list, which we'll drop in the chat in a little bit, in a few moments. They also accept cash donations, but I know, Matt, sometimes you don't have the cash on you, so just don't worry. They accept donations via Venmo, Zelle, Apple Pay, PayPal. And, of course, one final note, the deadline for the 5th annual toy drive is next Monday, December the 12th. All toys must be new and unwrapped, and toys of all ages are accepted. And for more information, contact Alexa at 347-342-7427. That's 347-342-7427 happy holidays from Giving Grace, and we are happy to be in partnership with the foundation. Alexa does a lot of great work over there, and in a couple moments we'll get that link up for you for the Amazon wish list if you want to go down that route. Matt, Chrissy once again did it. 1933 is the correct answer. Chrissy, again, expect a little gift in your stocking for getting now 2 of the 3 Tinseltown trivia questions right. Great job. 1933. Alana came close with 1936. But great job, Chrissy, tonight on the trivia question. So, Matt, as we put a close to tonight's show, because already we've reached the time, we flew through a lot of our material, which is great. We had a great time doing this. Hopefully this is something that we continue to do with the Giving Grace projects over the next few years. But I want to finish off with some maybe some sentimental, feel good Christmas memories. Of course, we're kids at heart, and it's been a while since I feel like we've all been in that zone of, hey, like we're going to bed. We can't go to bed the night before Christmas because Santa's here, So I just want to let's take it back in time here. What are some of your favorite Christmas memories, or if you have one really good story that reminds you of the holiday?
Yeah. First off, let me just give a big shout out to Alexa. This is a great cause, and I was very happy to donate and hopefully make some kids happy on Christmas Day.
100%.
So thank you, Alexa. So one of my fondest Christmas memories, I was a young Chooch at the time. This is going way back. My grandmother used to work in the city, and she had an office that overlooked Rockefeller Center with the Christmas tree. So my mom took me one day. It must have been something family-oriented at the office because they had holiday stuff up. There was a Santa there. And at the bottom of my grandmother's office building was a toy store. And in the toy store, in the window, was a stuffed dog that I really, really wanted. And I remember thinking about it the entire night. I wanted it. And then we were in the office setting and the party, and it was my turn to sit with Santa. And Santa asked me, question, what would you like for Christmas? And I said, there's a stuffed dog that I really wanted. And lo and behold, Santa pulled out of his bag the exact stuffed dog that I saw in the window and gave it to me. And that, as a kid, I was just like, this is real. He's real. Nobody could tell me otherwise, and nobody could tell me otherwise to this day.
That's amazing. See, that's like when you're a kid growing up, and it's hard to have those kind of those thoughts, sometimes, because you hear people and I don't know if you still believe in those traditions and whatnot, but that's something that really just hits home and really keeps the magic of Christmas alive. So that's an amazing story there, Matt. I love that. And real quick, not necessarily more of a story like Matt's here. When I think Christmas, I think of smells and taste of Christmas memories. And honestly, before her health started to ail, my grandmother used to do this awesome job in baking these amazing cookies, which I was able to pull up just before the story. And here's just a few of them. Like, she used to do a killer job on these cookies, and to me, that really captured the magic of the holiday and being around family. And even to this day, since her passing, we've attempted to try to capture the essence of those cookies, and it's been hard. She put us to task here, so it's been tough to try to replicate what she used to do. But those kind of memories I'll always cherish. And when I think of the holidays and Christmas in general, specifically, I'm always going to think about my grandma and how she made it, that much more special. So I hope for everyone in the chat that you cherish your loved ones, you cherish your family, you cherish what makes, this time of the year special. One day it's not going to be here. And then one day you're going to be the one responsible for passing on those traditions and legacy. And hopefully, with something like Giving Grace projects, maybe that's a new Christmas tradition that we can all, find a way to be a part of and make somebody else's Christmas special, even if we don't know that person. There's a lot of great work there, and there's great ways to just keep the magic of this holiday alive. So with that, Matt, I think we could put a bow on this one, as we will put a bow on some gifts underneath the Christmas tree in a couple of weeks. But I want to thank you, sir, first and foremost, for being a part of this and really pushing this for the last few years. We've been wanting to do this for a long time. I'm happy we're doing this, and hopefully we can keep this tradition going in 2023 and years beyond.
Absolutely, Rich. When you came to me last weekend and said, let's do this thing, I was fully on board. I was happy to be a part of it. I was very happy that you asked me. And like I said, Christmas is one of my favorite times of the year. And I like to consider myself one of the jolliest mother effers around. And I was very, if you want to have me back next year and many years to come, I'll be happy to do it again.
Absolutely. We're going to keep this Merry Choochmas tradition going. This was a lot of fun to do. Something different, something I haven't done in a while, having a podcast centered around the holidays, but it was a lot of fun. I want to thank you, of course, once again for doing this. And I want to thank our Chooches in the chat. I want to thank Corey, Favs, and Joe Pugliese for being a part of tonight's show and helping us break down those great segments. I want to thank everyone who participated tonight and got those trivia questions right. I want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and good night.